Good morning, Facebook. Oh, what the hell am I talking about? Good morning, YouTube. All right, good to have you along here this morning. If you're watching this as a replay, you can definitely skip ahead a few minutes. Let's see, what do we got here? 11 minutes. You can skip ahead 11 minutes, just getting on early so we can get the rest of the radio stations hooked up here, ready to go as well here. There we got that. That can be over there. We have this. Getting all my stuff set up. Got deer right out front of my studio right now, like right outside. Mule deer, that is. And about, I don't know, 20 of them come walking by this morning about 5 feet away from the window, just staring at me. Morning, Waylon Turnus. Chuck Hansen, good morning. Wayne, howdy. Good morning, Wayne. Hey, Wayne, be on standby to call in. John says that if turkeys come in, he's going to stop talking so we can discuss a little bit about what's happening coming up in the mule deer side of things, how your banquet went and all that good stuff. So be on standby to call in 888-932-5682. What else do I got going on here? Feels like I'm missing something. Morning, Karen. No, I didn't mean to hit that. I am missing something here. Huh. You'll remember it when you least think about it, I guess. I can get there. Oh, man. Had a heifer at 2 o'clock this morning. Son of a gun just wouldn't, had the calf and everything and started licking the damn calf and wouldn't lick the bag off of the face. So, ran out to get that pulled off, and I've been up ever since. I couldn't get back to sleep. There we go. There we go. Text messages received. So there you have it. I suppose I better call up the old Arman man here and get him ready to go. Gotta be quiet. He's hunting from the blind. He's gonna be whispering like all the guys do on TV shows. We'll see if he answers.
Good morning, sunshine.
Can I whisper too?
Yeah. We're in a snowstorm here. We got I bet there's half an inch of snow on the ground. It just started coming down here.
What part of the res you hunting? Where roughly?
We'd be south of Breen.
Okay.
So.
Fair enough.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. It started out really nice, and then it started sleeting. Now it's big snowflakes. So my decoys are white.
At least you're getting moisture.
Yeah, we need it. I mean, there's no question we need it.
Yeah. We had just a couple little drizzle spots last night, and that was about it. Just enough on my car, on my camera, on my cows. I had to run out and actually, I couldn't see through the little bit of drizzle, so I had to actually run out. All right, we're 5-6 minutes away there, John. So
Levi's not as high tech, he said. I said, "Did you have any drizzle on your cameras?" He goes, "Nope." He goes, "The camera would be me."
So the difference probably would be if he would have to do it all by himself. He would and married and have to wake up and wake his wife up every single time he went out and checked. I guarantee he would probably invest in a marriage proposal agreement which would be get a goddamn camera.
Yeah, he's nodding his head. Yep.
Women change everything, and when you get married, let me tell you, it changes a lot of things differently. And some of them, most of them, for the good.
Yeah. Well, let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
He said he's going to find him a woman that checks the heifers for him.
My next question is, how ranchy would you like her to be? Because I might know a few.
He's game.
Nobody can hold the candle to what their expectations are, so we'll see.
Funny.
Yeah, so hope everything's going well for you so far.
Yeah, no complaints. Life's good.
Yeah, I'm a little bit droopy this morning, or I've been up since about 2. Went out and had to pull a sack off of Calf's head. She wouldn't lick it off, so I had to get that, and I couldn't fall back asleep. I was wide awake, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I was. I think I went to bed at 11:30, and I woke up. I got to pee like 3 times a night, so that's a lot of sleep for me. And 4:30 came pretty quick.
Well, hell, you as well get some heifers and calve them out for people if you got to get up that many times.
Yeah, might as well.
Just got a text from a guy listening on YouTube. He says, we save at least 3 calves a year by having cameras up.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Make a big difference.
Everybody made fun of me in this area when I put them up, and I was posting pictures on Facebook. They're like, oh, you got to do it the old way. You're cheating. Every single person that mentioned that said shit like that has now got cameras. Funny.
Yeah. You need birthing recognition cameras.
They actually have sensors that you can put on the tails of cows that will send you a text message when they're about ready to calve. They actually have those.
That's pretty cool.
It is cool. Certain technology is kind of neat when you see it like that.
Yeah, that's like I said.
Jamie Breck says, "Good morning, John. My prostate sucks as well." So.
He's still young.
He needs to get out and get turkey hunting. He's got him into the deer side of things for archery, but not the turkey side.
Oh, it's fun. We heard him gobbling this morning. Got him excited, and then, like I said, I've never hunted turkeys in the actual snow where it's snowing. So I'm thinking they're probably just sitting in the trees right now because they shut up.
Take a little longer to get them out of there.
Yeah.
Well, we're at 4 minutes after here. We got 2 minutes till we start. So just to let you know, a few announcements to get going when we start up. What's your wife do again, John?
She is a registered nurse.
Perfect. Is she going to be at the Boxers and Beer event April 29th in Bismarck?
The boxer? Probably not.
Shoot.
Why? What do you need?
I was just hoping somebody would be there. I know I'm the auctioneer for their event this year, raising money for the Bismarck Cancer Center. They do the bucks for bras or something like that at Borrowed Bucks. And so they, that's where guys get to look at girls now. Girls get to look at guys and boxers and what have you, and raise money.
Oh my gosh, that's what that was in the mail. Something they asked me to do something, a model for something, but
you should.
I thought it was a joke.
Absolutely, John. You should do that.
I thought it was a joke. So I turned it down.
I mentioned your name. Maybe that's why they sent it to you. You're kind of a celebrity in Bismarck, you should do that.
If I had any celebrity, whatever you call it, when they saw me in my boxer shorts with no shirt on, they would cancel the celebrity-ness.
It's about raising money for cancer, okay? It's not about what you look like.
I'm thinking they'd rather look at some young guy.
They told me last year the most expensive pair of boxers went to a 90-some-year-old World War II veteran or something like that, Vietnam veteran. So
That's pretty awesome.
All right, stand by. Stations, we are going to give you a 15-second mark here. It's 15 seconds coming up on mark. So that way you can back time how much delay there is on the YouTube side. 10 seconds. Make sure I'm ready to go. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. My name is Scott Bachmeyer, and for the next hour, we're talking outdoors, my friends, here, broadcasting from the bunkhouse this morning while a whole bunch of mule deer are sitting outside my window. Actually, they were sitting out there until I started talking like this, and now they're gone here. But they were watching and judging me as I was prepping for the show this morning. So if you don't believe me, check out my Facebook post. I would like to welcome all the listening audience all across the Dakota Territory listening on one of many great radio stations like KGFX in Pierre, South Dakota, KMLO in Mobridge, South Dakota, KFYR in Bismarck, Mandan, KCJB in Minot, and KLTC Dickinson, and around the world on my live YouTube feed. If you'd like, you can subscribe to my channel. That would be just peachy. Search for Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio. Hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to listen to the later on broadcast of this, they're automatically uploaded to my YouTube channel, so you can do that as well. And since last Saturday, calving is hit full swing for me here at the ranch, which is a great time of year. It includes making sure the first calf heifers are in good shape here and keep an eye on them a little bit, making sure they don't have any trouble on that first calf. So it's a little interrupted sleep patterns for a lot of ranchers out there. It was National Ag Week this whole week here, and we're finishing it up here today on Saturday by thanking all the farmers and ranchers out there. And thanks to today's technology too, cameras make it a lot easier. Keep an eye on those first-time heifers. Thank your rural broadband company in your area. For me, it's Consolidated Communications. People maybe Beck in your area, West River, Golden West down in South Dakota, SRT up in Minot. Whoever your company is, it's nice to have that broadband capability. John Arman is my guest this morning, and if you'd like to call in, you can do so. 888-932-5682. That's 888-932-5682 or 888-9-DAKOTA. If you are on the road trying to remember that number really quick, you can type it in that way too. Actually, talking to him from the turkey hunting blind, so we get his tone down, smooth, buttery, caramel voice while hunting turkeys. Morning, John. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
See how smooth that is? All the ladies listening are like, ooh, you should model for the Bismarck Cancer Center's boxers and beer.
Yeah, yep. Let's pass on that one.
Come on now, that's coming up here, and they asked me to be the auctioneer for it, so we'll definitely talk about that closer to the break. So where are you hunting turkeys at so early in the season? South Dakota and North Dakota is not open yet, John.
We are on the Standing Rock Reservation, and they opened up earlier. Levi, like I said, is always waiting for opening day somewhere, and these guys have been open this weekend, or has it been a couple weeks now? Yep, couple weeks. So Levi Nelson is sitting next to me, and we're enjoying a nice snow squall. My turkey decoys are covered in about a half inch of snow. Started out a beautiful morning, a little sleet came, and now we have snow coming. So the turkeys have shut up, and we're just kind of enjoying the moisture we're getting because we need it.
Well, if sitting in a blind brings in some snow showers, maybe I'll just set mine up here on my hay fields really quick and start doing this. Maybe that'll get you the moisture to come in. So are the turkeys actually making any noise this morning?
Well, they were when it was first light. They were gobbling up a storm. They hit the ground and they were talking to us. And then once it started snowing, they shut up. So I'm thinking they're just in the trees right now, kind of sitting out the snow until it quits, and then maybe we'll have a little action.
So a turkey is one of these animals you can call pretty much any time. Is there certain seasons that are a little bit more active than others, John?
Well, we've had luck in North Dakota. We start April 10th, somewhere around there. And usually they're still flocked up, which they are now, because they haven't really started breeding. And you're able to last, a couple of years ago, we called in and killed 2 opening morning, and there was still snow on the ground. And, so we called them in then, and we called them in at the end of the season. To me, later in the year, it gets better because there's less and less of the ladies around because they're sitting on their nest. And once they start, sitting on those nests, those toms are looking for love, and there's a lot more toms out there strolling around looking for the fewer hens that are still ready to be bred. So late season to me is usually better, but any time is good.
Yeah. I know that each year, North Dakota at least has a lot of leftover turkey tags in some areas, not all areas, but some areas they do. And it's kind of funny when you look at turkey season here in the North and South Dakota side compared to Missouri, Alabama, Kentucky areas. The turkey season in the South is like what deer season is to us up here. And it's kind of different how those seasons change depending on what region you live in, doesn't it?
Oh man, those guys down south, it is, I mean, it's insane. And, the birds are pressured. Everybody hunts turkeys, and it makes it a little bit more exciting, I guess. But I like the way we have it here. I like the leftover tags and the fact that there's not a lot of people that do it. Birds are pretty, like I said, it's kind of funny when we compare notes with, I talked to Randy Birdsong, Nate Hosey, when they're hunting them down there. We're driving down the road and you stop and there's turkeys, 20 yards off the road strutting. And they're not too terribly afraid of you until, guys start blasting with the shotgun a few times. Then they get a little bit wiser. But for the most part, being such an open state, we get to see our birds all the time. And, down south, those guys are, down in Florida, some of those birds are walking in up 6 inches of water, 8 inches of water coming to decoys going through the swamp, and they're used to it. And they're down in those deep bogs and stuff like that. So for us up here in the open, it makes it, I guess, a little bit easier because you get to see them and you can kind of set up on them and, roost them in a tree. Well, there's 3 trees in North Dakota. So let me just pick one.
Maybe in your area. You need to come out here to the Badlands and get in the pine trees here and the cedars and try to hunt them out of here. We can make it look like you're hunting in the Black Hills.
Yep. I hunted out there when I was a kid and had a heck of a hunt. We hunted out, and I want to say it was in the logging camp ranch somewhere out there. Mm-hmm. And that's where we stayed when we were, before we had our cabin built. And then Dad kind of got the idea from staying out there that we built our cabin. It was a good hunt out there. There's a lot of birds, but that was back, we were using a shotgun and it was run and gun.
Yeah.
I think I missed one in front of me. We got up and flew away and I missed it. And then I ran for, I think back then I bet it was 2 miles. A guy watched me chase these birds through the buttes, and I got back up on them and I killed one.
How old were you at that time when you the first turkey hunting?
Well, that one was when I was in my 20s, but my first turkey I killed when I was probably 8 years old.
Okay.
I was lucky my dad took me turkey hunting when we were kids. And back then, again, it wasn't calling them in. I didn't even know you could do that. And we would just sneak up on them and shoot them.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. Sitting in blinds is kind of the way to go for turkey hunting right now. But unless you have good wooded area, I see a lot of people there just lean up against a tree and just start calling them in that way too. So, John, hold on here with it. We're all kind of getting close to a break here, so I'll let you sit back. I hear Levi hitting the, I don't know what you're using, a box call this morning, or are you using a scratcher?
That was the geese flying over.
Oh, that was geese flying over. Okay. Well, we'll let you kick back here a little bit. You got a 5-minute break to try to get something in, and hopefully we can hear you sling an arrow on the air. That would be pretty cool. So John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV is my guest in the turkey blind on the Standing Rock Reservation right now. Hey, just a reminder, Boxers and Beer. I'm not even kidding about this. April 29th. This is the 5th annual Boxers and Beer event fundraiser for the Bismarck Cancer Center. This is going to be at the Bismarck Elks. Tickets are $25. Limited seating. Get in there. I'm going to be your auctioneer for the night, trying to raise as much money as we can for cancer and cancer research. I'm Scott Bachmeyer. This is Dakota Prairie Outdoors. More after these.
When it it comes to picking the right financial institution that best suits your unique banking needs, we invite you to come bank with Dakota Community Bank and Trust. Recently named North Dakota's best small bank and Newsweek's America's Best Banks in 2021, we believe that community banking can blend both the past with down-home customer service and the future with modern banking conveniences and technology for our online and mobile customers, all while honoring our long-standing tradition of community-first oriented banking. Here at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment right, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Our outdoor heritage is important to North Dakotans, and the state's oil and natural gas industry is advancing the possibilities for conservation. The North Dakota Outdoor Heritage Fund receives up to $40 million per biennium from oil and natural gas taxes. The industry is reclaiming land for future generations, and it's developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. North Dakota Oil and Natural Gas, advancing the possibilities. Brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Foundation.
Piper's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Savvy would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Piper's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Savvy. For more information or land updates, go to pifers.com.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. The Medicine Rocks Angus Ranch annual production sale coming up on April 23rd, 1 p.m. at the Bowman Auction Mart. 85 head of bulls and 80 head of commercial heifers. I got a chance to talk with the folks at Medicine Rocks about some of their sires we can see on April 23rd.
We got a lot of Meadowrock, Beaver Creek, KPHU 4055, a rockin' set of Sitz Reloads, and S Foundation. They're kind of our main four groups. Man, they're a really nice set of bulls, and they're going to go ahead and not make your cow herd bigger, and I guess we're always trying to keep everything in check, keeping a nice average birth weight. Everything's built from the ground up, so starting with feet being a priority, nothing else works. They have to be able to get out and cover the country, especially in our area, your area, the western Dakotas, eastern Montana, northeastern Wyoming. We expect them to get out and go do a job, and that takes a sound set of feet.
Make sure to join us April 23rd, 1 p.m. Mountain Time at the Bowman Auction Market for the Medicine Rocks Angus Ranch annual production sale. Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition.
all across the Dakota Territory, around the world, to YouTube as well. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing and watching me there. Hey, just a reminder here, the Meyer 7M Semitoles, along with the Meyer Ranch annual genetic sale is coming up your way on Saturday, April 17th. This is going to be 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, this is a timed online-only auction. And I looked at it this morning. I've been up since 2 o'clock looking at some heifers calving. So I went on DV Auction and checked out. They have the full catalog right there. You can look at any of the bulls. If you would like to actually stop out at the ranch and take a peek at them in person, you can sure do that too. And just contact Mr. Marty Meyer or his wife at 701-527-8657. That again is 701-527-8657. You can find more information. They have a Facebook page here. They have all kinds of things going on. And again, dvauction.com, you can do that. It's a timed online only auction starting on Saturday, April 17th for the Meyer 7M Semitoles and Meyer Ranch all together. I appreciate those guys using Dakota Prairie Outdoors to get the word out a little bit. Also, big thanks to Action Motorsports. You saved my life once again on a calf that needed to get saved in a little bit of a predicament. And I got to sneak up there on my Ranger, reach down, grab the calf, and take that and the mother to safety. I tell you what, if you haven't gotten yourself into a Ranger, a General, a Razor, or Polaris Sportsman, Action Motorsports on the Strip in Mandan has the egg advantage. If you are an egg producer, they have a pretty sweet deal for you, 10% off right away when you just walk in the door. Pretty much any new UTV or ATV you'd like to get in. So check it out. Talk to any one of the sales staff or Steve and Action Motorsports on the Strip in Mandan. John Arman is my guest here, and let's see if he's did you get a turkey down yet, John? Did you get one during the break?
Yeah, not quite. We got snow falling off the blinds. I mean, it's snowing pretty good here.
Good. You know, Wayne Muth just messaged me. He said that let John know it's snowing in Mandan. He said thanks for sending the snow his way.
Like it's I mean, there's enough snow where it's sliding off the blind. So I would say you see something, Levi? Oh, a deer. Can't shoot the deer.
Can't shoot a deer. No, not at all. So turkey season opened up on the Standing Rock Reservation. And, North Dakota's coming around here. I actually have the dates in front of me. North Dakota starts on April 10th for the regular season. And in South Dakota, turkey season starts April 3rd. So next weekend already is the South Dakota opener for turkey season already. So that's pretty awesome. And, I mean, depending on where you're going, the South Dakota has a few different seasons, John. They got the spring mentored archery that opens up on the 3rd. The spring archery season opens up on the 3rd. Black Hills is on the 10th. And then Custer Park is on the 10th. So it depends on where you're at. And that's how they go about that. So, one thing about turkey season, it kind of comes around. And when you feel turkey season, it's the start of not only hunting season for the year, but also food plot preparation and planting. How's that coming along for you?
Well, I'm a little bit nervous about it just because of the lack of moisture. Yeah. But actually going to look at a no-till drill today, and I got another one spotted because I got to start going no-till just because that moisture in our country, you just never know what you're going to get. And every time I touch the ground with that disc, it just germinates those seeds of weeds, and it's crazy the amount of weeds. I don't know how anybody does organic farming. They must be really good at it.
Now, organic farming doesn't necessarily mean they can't use chemicals. So a lot of people get that. Yeah, a lot of people get that confused. There's a certain amount they can use. Yes.
Well, like I said, a guy used to do it on our place, and I remember him not using wheat or spray, and I'm thinking that's why we got so many weeds right now.
So what size no-till drill is good for planting food plots? I mean, what size, first off, how big are your food plots that you find that are the right size that you can set blinds up around them?
Well, we were looking at, was it 2 years ago, the guy that leased our place wasn't able to get soybeans off, and our field up top is like, I think between the two of them, it was about 30 acres of soybeans, and that was unbelievable. I mean, you can't even imagine the amount of deer that we had coming into the fields late season into those soybeans. And then during shed season, I walked it and found like 3 sheds, and then we got into the Ranger, courtesy of Action Sports.
There you go.
And we found Levi. It was sitting in the back, and I was driving, and I mean, I think we picked up 40 sheds in that soybean field, because that's the amount of deer, like I said, that were hanging in that field. So bigger, having some of those bigger fields so that it will carry deer through the winter is crucial. So it's kind of nice that we got a guy that runs cattle on there and farms some of the bigger fields.
Mm-hmm.
So we have irrigated corn and irrigated soybeans, and there's a big enough area that they can stay there. But for me, most of mine, are probably 2 to 5 acres, 7 acres probably being the biggest. And again, with the amount of deer we have, if I don't plant enough, they just smoke it off. I mean, you'll be through the middle of the season and you won't have anything left. So, depending on your deer herd you have, I'd recommend at least a 3-acre food plot. But again, we have some small ones that are a 1/4 acre that are in the inside of the trees or on the edges of these big fields that I call kill plots. And those deer will come in there, and they kind of, it's kind of a staging area before they hit the big field.
Yeah.
So a lot of times deer, I swear, I sit in the blind and there's not a deer in our big fields, and we're sitting there waiting for them to come. And I'm thinking, if I could see down in the draws, there'd be like 50 deer walking around, just kind of mingling around, just waiting for that right time of night, before they enter those fields. So that's what I started doing, is trying to put some of those little food plots in key areas like that, where I could get inside of that area and have a chance of getting them before they hit the big fields.
Yeah. Now, for folks that have no trees, let's say they have no river, no trees, or any of that, what's the best way to set up a food plot and your blinds when you have a limited space like that? Say you're going to put in less than an acre of food plots.
Well, yeah, I just looked at a guy's place the other day, and I'm no expert at this, but he's in an area where it's just kind of rolling hills, and there's not a lot of trees, not a lot of cover, sloughs and things like that. And he put in, he had an acre food plot, and he said, it got hammered pretty good. And the problem where he had it, that I thought, is that the deer were coming. You have to know where your deer are coming from. If you got deer coming from a mile away to get to your food plot, the odds are, they're not going to get there. Maybe in the summertime they're going to get there, but once hunting season comes, they just change their patterns a little bit. So I tell people, I said, during the summertime, scout, see where those deer are coming from. So then if you do have a food plot, and you can change where you set up on them. I mean, if you have access to get closer to where they're coming from, which this gentleman does, and I said I would set up down on that as close as you can to where they're bedding, so you have more time, so that they're hitting you in the daylight. But again, it all depends. You kind of got to scout and kind of get an idea where your deer are coming from, and if they're close, you can set up on. You want to set up on that food plot. With the prevailing wind, whatever you think is going to be your wind, so that you can hunt it most often.
Do you usually set up a few different blinds just in case you have different prevailing winds that day?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've got, and it's kind of funny. I have one food plot that's maybe 3 acres, and I have a blind on the east side and a blind on the west side. So it's kind of like a gauntlet. Yeah. And the deer get used to blinds real quick, whether they're permanent or pop up. It doesn't take them but a few days, and sometimes we can even hunt them the same day. I've always said, when you're out in the middle of a field, in the middle of nothing, deer don't care. They come out of the woods, they see the blind from 100 yards away or whatever. They look at it, they do the head bob a couple times. And that's about it.
Get used to it here. Hold that thought, John. We'll talk more about blind setup as we come back after this next break here. Our last break before we get into the longer period here where we can take more phone calls if you'd like to call in. 888-932-5682. I'm talking with John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV, and taking your calls in the second half of the hour, and text messages too after these messages.
it comes to picking the right financial institution that best suits your unique banking needs, we invite you to come bank with Dakota Community Bank and Trust. Recently named North Dakota's best small bank and Newsweek's America's Best Banks in 2021, we believe that community banking can blend both the past with down-home customer service and the future with modern banking conveniences and technology for our online and mobile customers, all while honoring our long-standing tradition of community-first oriented banking. Here at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment right, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Our outdoor heritage is important to North Dakotans, and the state's oil and natural gas industry is advancing the possibilities for conservation. The North Dakota Outdoor Heritage Fund receives up to $40 million per biennium from oil and natural gas taxes. The industry is reclaiming land for future generations, and it's developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. North Dakota Oil and Natural Gas, advancing the possibilities. Brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Foundation.
Piper's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Savvy would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Piper's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Savvy. For more information or land updates, go to pifers.com. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. The Medicine Rocks Angus Ranch annual production sale coming up on April 23rd, 1 p.m. at the Bowman Auction Mart. 85 head of bulls and 80 head of commercial heifers. I got a chance to talk with the folks at Medicine Rocks about some of their sires we can see on April 23rd.
We got a lot of Meadowrock, Beaver Creek, KPHU 4055, a rockin' set of Sitz Reloads, and S Foundation. They're kind of our main four groups. Man, they're a really nice set of bulls, and they're going to go ahead and not make your cow herd bigger, and I guess we're always trying to keep everything in check, keeping a nice average birth weight. Everything's built from the ground up, so starting with feet being a priority, nothing else works. They have to be able to get out and cover the country, especially in our area, your area, the western Dakotas, eastern Montana, northeastern Wyoming. We expect them to get out and go do a job, and that takes a sound set of feet.
Make sure to join us April 23rd, 1 p.m. Mountain Time at the Bowman Auction Market for the Medicine Rocks Angus Ranch annual production sale. Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. You bet it is Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition. Good to have you along. I'm Scott Bachmeyer. Good morning on a Saturday here. And John Arman is my guest as he's sitting in the turkey blind somewhere on the Standing Rock Reservation. But wherever you're at, you're getting snow, and that's good. Send a little bit of moisture over to the western side of the state there, John. That would be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a whiteout here. We're sitting in an igloo right now, and there's so much snow on it. I'm thinking our turkey hunt today might be a fail, but we'll be back at it. Hopefully it will warm up and melt some of this and get the birds moving again.
Well, that's the nice thing is turkey season lasts, it's not just a weekend type thing. Quick question comes in via Facebook Messenger, and it says, could you guys cover what you're using to hunt with, what type of call you're using, and what you're using for weaponry, I guess you could say.
Okay. Well, we, like I said, for HS Strut or Hunter Specialty, they've been around forever. And we've been partnered with them, and they came out with a slate call called a cookie cutter. And we use that a lot. And what it is, it actually has a plastic cover that goes on the slate that has a diagram and a cutout. So you can only move your striker a certain way, and it tells you which way to move it. It's great. I mean, when people are just learning how to call, that's one of the things people get intimidated by elk hunting and turkey hunting because of calling. And a slate call to me is one of the easier ones to use. And that cookie cutter is about as easy as it gets. Levi had never used a slate call a couple of years ago, and we got that cookie cutter, and he called in the 2 birds that we shot.
Nice.
So I like slate calls. Levi's got a couple of diaphragm calls, and diaphragm calls are what guys use elk hunting, and they're like you have I don't know what you want to call it. It's fabric, and it's like a U shape that you put in your mouth, and you push pressure up against the top of your mouth and blow air through it. Takes a little bit more skill, a lot more practice. We won't have Levi do it in the background because you're not going to be able to tell if it's a goose or a turkey. I'm letting him call, and I'm like, when he listens to it on video, he's going to be like, yeah, that didn't sound so good. But the turkeys respond to it, and that's one thing people got to understand is that just like everybody else, you can walk up to a guy that's 6'5" and 285 pounds ripped, and he might have a squeaky little voice.
That's right.
And it's the same thing with calling turkeys. Some turkeys, they're raspy, some are a little bit higher pitched. So it really doesn't make a difference. And then we also use box calls. Box calls are good because they're kind of loud and they're easy to use. And that's just a little box with a piece of wood or a top that goes over top of it. You put a little chalk on it, and it works, like I said. So the guy can use anything he really wants to.
I prefer the in the mouth reed calls like that. I do, but everybody hunts differently. And out here, I love to spot and stalk. So I just like having something in my mouth. So if I'm at full draw, I could still make a little bit of noise.
Yeah. And a lot of guys, like I said, if you're hunting with a shotgun and you got birds coming in and you need to do something, you can't move your hands. We're in the blind so we can move. So you kind of, again, your style of hunting is going to dictate what kind of call you use too. And so that's a good point. And as far as equipment, we're hunting them with our bows. So we got our Hoyt's loaded up with Easton arrows, tipped with some titanium X broadheads, and hopefully going to put a big hole through them. So
are you one of those guys that takes the decapitation style, or are you just going to aim for the body?
I aim for the body. We use, I was just listening to a podcast, and there's a guy that's killed a ton of birds, and he uses the bullhead or the decapitation style, but he's always got his arrow sitting next to him with his regular broadhead on there. We use mechanicals because you want it, to me, when you're shooting a turkey, it's not like a deer. You're not, you want to pass through a turkey, but if you don't, it doesn't make a difference. But you want to make as big a hole as possible because it's a small vital. So we're using a 4-blade mechanical that when it hits them, it puts a big old hole through them.
Yeah. Message comes in. He says, your guest is spot on. Don't worry about how the calls sounds to other hunters, but how it sounds to the game.
Yep, and you listen to your game. I mean, and the thing about turkey hunting is even as many birds as I've killed, I'm not an expert by any means, and you have to pay attention to the animal you're hunting. You can call too much. I would say there's, once they respond to you, people have a tendency to keep talking and keep calling them. And we killed our birds a couple of years ago. We talked to them, they talked to us. We talked to them, and they sat there at 100 yards and just gobbled at us.
Yeah.
And as soon as we shut up and didn't talk for about 5 minutes, they couldn't handle it anymore, and they came in. So you kind of got to read them.
Yeah, it's a lot like hunting coyotes too. Sometimes you can overcall. I just got a text message from Britt at Action Motorsports. He said it's urgent breaking news, John, because we all know. I did my show up there a couple of weeks ago, and getting new ATVs is kind of hard for anybody right now. It seems like this COVID thing has really slowed the manufacturing process down. But he says breaking news right now. He's got 5 brand new Polaris ATVs in stock right now. No names on it for holding them. So if you want them, they're not going to last long. Today is the day. So go in there and tell them you heard it here and get yourself an ATV. Also, a text message comes in and says, ask John about archery elk, total arrow and broadhead weight, and mechanical or fixed broadheads when you're looking at going after elk. What do you think? Total arrow and broadhead weight and mechanical or fixed?
I would always go, like I said, anything you're going big game. When we went to Africa, we learned, they're tougher animals. I go with a fixed blade. You want something that's going to punch a hole through them. Your arrow weight, again, it's one of those deals. Shelby, she's pulling 50 pounds. So if she's going elk hunting, she's probably not going to have a real heavy arrow. But if you have a good broadhead, that's cut on impact, it's got a big chisel tip, and it's going to go through them. You don't have to pull a ton of weight. People think that you got to pull 70 pounds. If you look at gals like Tiffany Lakowski and some of those ladies, they're not pulling 70 pounds, and they're killing elk just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. So, the arrow weight, I guess I've never really weighed my arrows. I'm shooting, axis arrows. So I'm going to guess my total arrow weight is, maybe 480, 500 grains.
So you're using 100 grains on your broadheads?
I'm using 100 grain tips, and that's the standard. There's very few guys. I've listened to Brian Call, and he uses like a 200 grain broadhead, but it's a totally different system. So he's going super heavy. He's pulling 80 pounds. Oh. But for me, I'm shooting, 65 pounds, and I'm shooting a fixed blade broadhead. And that broadhead, when I shot my elk 4 or 5 years ago, that big bull, I was using a 3-blade, and it blew right through him. I mean, just smoked right through him like going through butter. So I'd always say a fixed blade. Anything big, you're not going to have failure. And mechanicals, a lot of guys kill elk with mechanicals, but I'm a fixed blade guy when it gets to something big like that. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to what's your spines? I'm running 400s, I think, on my arrows. What are you running?
I'm running 400s, and I get crap. Sometimes they say I could go a little heavier, but I have Zach Kemmer down at Shields. He shoots my bows for me and gets them tuned up, and he's always shot perfect bullet holes. And then when I get home, my telltale test is putting my broadhead on and shooting from 40, 50 yards and watching it fly. And when it flies good, I'm good.
Exactly. I did have one bow that was sent to me. It wouldn't shoot my 400s. I had to get heavier spines on that thing just because it was such a souped up speed, going on. So I know that changes things a little bit. More questions come in. It says hunting turkeys is kind of like dating. Don't overcall.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. And it is. And right now my hands are freezing, and I'm thinking that turkeys are sitting in the trees going, what happened to springtime? And again, it seems like every time I go early in North Dakota, or you get excited right before the season, we'll get a foot of snow. So the turkeys, again, I think I looked at the forecast, and we're supposed to be up to 70 during the week.
Yeah, next week's going to be warm. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we need the moisture because it's like our fire. I was looking at my phone and fire index is like super high.
Yeah.
So this should knock her down a little bit for us for a while.
Yeah, warm and windy next week. Message off Facebook or YouTube comes in. Jamie says, have the muleys dropped their antlers at either of you guys' place here? Last time he was out 2 weeks ago, the muleys on his place still had antlers.
Well, that's because he has really small mule deer and they hold their antlers longer.
Things are a little
guys,
slower in that area, huh? That's what you're saying?
No. Levi said the other day he was out and he saw deer with his antlers. I've seen whitetail and mule deer in April with antlers on. So it's who knows? I mean, there's everybody will have their opinion on when they drop, and there's been some that drop early in December, and there's been some that are later in the year, and depends on the size of them. You just never know.
Yeah. And my place here, John, we haven't seen anything with antlers for probably a month now. Everything around my area pretty much dropped off. Even the elk have dropped earlier this year.
Have they? Yeah. They haven't. We went out hunting a little bit, but again, our deer are pretty smart. They dig holes and they shake them off, and then they bury them, so I can't find them.
Yeah, it's a big thing for some people. This shed hunting, I had some people coming through. I mean, that's what they live for. They could care less about hunting elk, like actually shooting an elk. They would rather go look for the antlers.
I know a guy like that, and I said, one day he's got all these elk everywhere. I said, you're gonna be the only guy I know that's got 400-inch elk on his wall and never shot one of them. They just love it. I mean, and again, I think as some of these guys, and that guy I'm talking about, I'm joking a little bit because he has history with him, and so to me, if I'm going and I'm looking for a specific deer on my own place, own property, I get pretty excited when you find it.
Yeah.
And, so you have history with it, maybe 2 or 3 years of it, and you get to kind of follow the animal. And there's a lot of guys that do that. And it's turned into be such a big thing now that they've had to regulate it, which is kind of crazy because we don't, you and me, we talk about it. We don't like a lot of regulations and people stepping in there, but they've had to close areas down because people go in during the winter season and they start moving these animals around and putting pressure on them, and pretty soon they're stressed and dying. So
yeah,
guy's got to think about that when he's out there, shed hunting. If it's in a winter area and we're still having a tough winter, you want to kind of stay out of there and give them a little bit of a break.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish more people would think that way. I know some states are actually putting some regulations. They have shed hunting dates where you can only go for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and that's it, because then the rotation of the elk and or deer or whatever they're more worried about that staying the same than people getting sheds out that way. So, well, I tell you what, as we're coming a little bit closer toward the end of the program, anything new going on this year that you're going to go try? I know you can't get into Canada. Darren says northern spring fishing is starting right now, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of big northern getting takeout. I've seen Lake Oahu's hitting them hard over there. So, I mean, what do you have if you can't go bear hunting? You can't go fishing up in Canada. What are you looking at going at for extra tags this year?
I'm not sure. I think we're going to put in, we still got a week. We're deciding on going to Montana for elk this year and possibly deer. We'll be headed to Wyoming once again, antelope hunting, and I think we're going to actually try archery mule deer hunting out in Wyoming.
Okay.
And as far as this spring goes, we've talked about bear hunting in Montana, but it's one of those situations that don't know enough about it to pull the trigger yet on it. So
why don't you do a Alaska hunt?
Yeah, again, it's one of those that I'd like to, and we gotta plan it, because in Alaska now you gotta get drawn for spring bear.
Yeah,
and that would be a fun one to go out there. I'd like to do it yourself out in Prince of Wales and some of those areas, but again, it's all about vacation time for me as a school teacher. So I'm trying to plan something that, like a bear hunt, that I could do it at the end of May, going into June, and that's why we like going to Canada so much, is because we could do it that first week of June and have great fishing and bear hunting. So I'm hoping the Canadians start opening up the border for us.
Yeah. One thing here is I was going to talk about no South Dakota tags this year. I mean, that's where I'm putting in here. I got some friends in the Harding County area that I'm going to try to go after some pronghorn down that way.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those deals that I have some property down there, some friends that I'm thinking about possibly going down and archery hunting. So I'm gonna go down, try to get down there this summer. And the nice thing about South Dakota is if you're hunting private land, you can still get your archery tag over the counter in most of the areas as long as you're hunting private. So go check out those things. And one thing I got to be conscious of is sometimes my eyes get pretty big and you get excited and you got 8 tags or 9 tags in your pocket and you end up filling 2 of them.
Yeah. You don't want to be a tag hog either. Hey, very quickly, how's the archery camp coming up?
It's, I'm glad you asked because it's going great. We've got, I want to say 14 or 15 kids signed up right now.
Good.
So it's starting to run down where we still got a few months before, but it's been a nice response so far. We've got some of the same kids I had before, some gals coming. There's a couple of young ladies that come and their instructor from 4-H up by the northern part of the state, and they're coming back. And I've talked to kids at 4-H and gotten some kids interested there. So if anybody's interested, we still have openings. And if they're looking, they need a scholarship, they can fill out a application online at Raised at Full Draw for a scholarship, but we're still looking for kids, both boys and girls, ages 12 to 17.
And you also said that you have if people want to donate some money to help some of these younger kids get into that hunting side of things, they can do that as well. I mean, they don't have to necessarily meet up or nothing. They can actually just here's X amount of dollars and help out a little bit too.
Oh boy, I tell you what, I can't tell people how much we appreciate it, because running camps like this, it's solely on donations. It is expensive getting these camps going, and some of these kids can't afford to go to these camps, and we don't want to turn them away. And so to donate $150 or even $20, we will take anything we can get, and we are very appreciative when we do. So you can go online. There's a couple different ways you can donate, and like I said, I'm always looking for that one guy, one gal out there that's got $10 billion in their pocket. And if they want a good organization, this is one, because we are getting kids not just interested in shooting a bow, we're getting them into bow hunting. And that's our goal, to get them to get out there and put food on the table for their family and enjoy the lifelong sport of bow hunting.
That's awesome. Well, John, I know it's always tough when it's hunting season to get people to come on the radio, so I appreciate you taking a little time, and good luck to you for the rest of the reservation hunting season, and Levi as well. Oh, very quick, if the podcast, give us a little update on how the podcast is going.
Well, Mr. Nelson here, sitting here, he's a man of many words. He's never been short on conversation, and he's been getting a hold of some guys in the industry. He's talked to someone from Midwest Whitetails, talked to Kyle Ostrand from out of Williston, who's been killing a lot of big animals. We got Nick Munt coming up. We've been trying to tie him down from Bone Collector to talk to him, Randy Birdsong. So getting a few people listening to it. It's been fun, regardless. I've always said, if one person or 2 people listen, that's more than we expect.
Well, and that's just getting the information and educating the public about what hunting really is. John, appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on the program, and have yourself a safe weekend.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much.
You bet. John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. I'm letting him go just a little early because we have a few things to talk about before I leave you. And one of them here is the Meyer 7M Semitals and the Meyer Ranch here. They're having a joint sale, and that is coming up Saturday, April 17th. It's a timed online-only auction. Go to dvauction.com for more information and a full catalog that way. The Bizman Reel and Rec Club is having their 40th annual Walleye Derby Saturday, May 15th. I know it's a ways away, but that's okay. Here's a youth tournament on June 12th at Hart Butte Dam near Lake Chita. And if you're going to look at bulls, there's where the tournament, fishing tournament's going to happen. The Denny Palmer Memorial Walleye Classic is also going to be June 11th through 12th down in the Mobridge side of things. And you guys have a great weekend. Eat some meat, drink some milk. All right, YouTube, thank you for tuning in here today. Appreciate everything. And, man, I think I'm going to go out and feed some cows, and I'm going to take a nap. And get up and do it all over again. See ya.